So I've been spending my time with a game called Paladins from HyperX Studios, which is a mixture of both a MOBA and a first-person shooter, and it's currently in its beta. There's been a wave of games like these, or at least looking like they're gonna be the same thing. I don't think Overwatch is a MOBA, but games like Gigantic, like Battleborn, and I think it was called Paragon from Epic Games, sorry, that they've announced recently. But it seems like 2016 is going to be the year of these games. Like everyone's going to make this first-person MOBA. Well, Paragon is a third-person, but it's still a shooter MOBA. And after playing few rounds of Paladins, I'm not sure if it's going to be such a great hit. And these are concerns concerning both Paladins and the upcoming genre as a whole. Basically, I can say that I understand that this is a MOBA, so that it is very skill based, like hero skill based, not like your skill based, and it's all about team play and organization, and not really much about the shooting part. And that's, I think, my biggest disappointment about this game. And sorry for starting this negative, but there are many complaints. I also saw those complaints on the subreddit. Basically, the FPS element feels very optional. Like this game might have even been like a League of Legends game visible from top, and the shooting might even be automatic because everyone has a single weapon. It doesn't have ammo, nothing. You cannot swap weapons. There's no alternative fire, and a lot of weapons do area of effect damage, splash damage. So I found myself playing through a lot of characters by just spamming left click, and it was good enough. And that's, I think, what was so disappointing about Paladins. It's how basically a boring FPS it is, because there's a lot of fighting in this it's a 5v5 game, and there are no other mobs. So are there lanes like in League of Legends and Dota and, well, MOBA games? Well, no, there's nothing. And that's also the problem that comes with the maps. There are 3 control points which spawn like big cannons that will go towards the enemy base and destroy its gates to get to not the core, it's a fortress, to get inside basically. The problem is there are 3 points on the map. So that means that you could say that this has 3 lanes, but the thing is, effectively there's 1, because the control point after the game starts, it will spawn in like 10 or 20 seconds on one of the 3 points. There is literally no reason to go to other points, meaning that you're literally, while fighting for a control point, you're using only 1/3 of the map at all times, which is a bummer. And another thing, there's not a lot of verticality in this game, and by that I mean like elevated places, complex places. A lot of it feels like a flat terrain, meaning that also when you try and run away or hide or cover, well, you're not gonna find one. And I've had a lot actually, or even I could say that this happened every time. Whenever I tried to basically run away, it's impossible, because this is such a flat open area that people can snipe you very easily, like deal little but constant damage by just following you. Every hero has the same running speed, and there's not much you can do about it. And yeah, the levels basically are very, very flat. But dying is not the worst part actually, because there's very little punishment when you die. Basically, your cards will start to regenerate, but other than that, by the time you get back to the map, they're gonna be fine. And another thing, this is a complaint. There are a lot of also like invisible walls on the level where you just can't go, and basically the levels feel lifeless. Besides the 5 players in them, there's nothing, and I don't know. It feels like a very boring FPS. It's just it's just you clicking left and right. But let's talk about the mobile elements. So mobile elements are, well, all heroes have skills, and I've noticed a pattern. Each hero will have one like attack skill. Second is like a support skill. For instance, Pip will drop a bomb on the ground, which will make an area of effect, slowdown effect. And some heroes have like see the enemies and enhanced attack. And Fernando has a shield, so there's always a attack skill, a support skill, and the third skill is basically a dodge you can sometimes use. And each character has a little flavor to the dodge, because for instance, Pip is weightless, which means that he will jump further, run faster, and if you pick the correct cards, regenerate health. Fernando will dash forward, and some heroes will dash backwards, but it's always the same pattern with every hero: attack, support, and roll, which is kind of funny that an action FPS game with RPG elements, with mobile elements, has a roll that's you can use it like once an hour. Your skills are also influenced by cards, and this is a weird system. I don't hate it, but they said they're gonna introduce like deck building. Basically, each time you level up, you can get a card, which you can choose from 3 cards, and they will infuse you with extra skills, extra powers, extra health, extra damage. And basically that's how you build your character. It's not like in, for say, League of Legends, where you can max out every skill, but it's in League of Legends and it's important in which order you will do that. Here not so much, but here's the thing: since they are cards, you roll them, so there's an element of randomness in this. Yeah, most of the time some combinations are very OP, and some are crucial to having a good build. Basically, you build characters around the cards you roll. And I've seen a lot of complaints about basically every character having like an extremely good build, like the optimal one, and basically being, OP. That also means one thing. When it comes to combat, like character versus character, I often found that basically the person who wins is the person with more health and who starts attacking first. And if they're at even health, it's only, luck. Or at least that's what I sometimes feel like. The shooting basically is just optional. But I actually like the game, but I don't feel that I'm gonna play it a long while. Like, let's talk about how do you win, or how does the gameplay work. So basically every time you have these 3 control points, basically. And when you stand on them, you will capture them, or the enemy will capture them, some sort of like CTF in Team Fortress, but the enemy like loading bar for the control capture bar for the point is not connected to yours, so you can both have like 95% capture percentage, and then one of you wins. There's no like taking away the control system. That will spawn a big ass cannon that will automatically go towards the enemy base and will try to destroy its doors. There are 2 doors, and the 3rd door is the final one. Basically, the defending party needs to kill this cannon. That's the only way to win the game. There's no creeps, there's nothing. That's the only thing that's controlled by like the AI automatically. And there's literally no creeps, nothing on the map to kill, so sometimes you will just die and just run towards the cannon. Sometimes it's actually easier to just die and respawn in the base and wait there for the cannon. It gets repetitive. It gets repetitive since the cannon will destroy after destroying a door, the cannon will destroy itself. That has been introduced in the latest patch 0.8, I think it is. And that basically prevents a good team from like just plowing through someone's defenses, because that apparently happened previously. But the thing is, a very good organized team with proper characters, proper team build, will plow through your defenses anyway. And that's kind of a bummer, because I felt like a lot of games felt one-sided, like there was no chance. I just felt like I wanted to quit, because for example, in Overwatch does what Team Fortress 2 does, which is to allow you to change classes and characters so you can adapt to the battlefield. Here it's non-existent, as the levelings and card systems are in place. And I don't feel that's fun, you know, being stuck for the next 20 minutes on a team that will surely lose. And basically every game you'll lose if the enemy has EV, because they introduced a character that is completely broken. Sort of like the most recent gun in CSGO. But this isn't a video about CSGO. So yeah, I'll be looking towards this, because there are characters that I found fun to play. Actually, Fernando, which is a tank, which is kind of silly that there's a character that doesn't shoot too much, and it's fun to play in an FPS game. So there are characters that are fun to play, but I feel that some characters are just like meh. But then again, this is beta and these are like my first impressions. Also, the game lacks, I think there's a second map, but I am yet to play on it for some reason, because it always chooses random. But I enjoy it, but I fear basically that I might lose interest very fast, maybe even too fast, because it feels repetitive for a shooter. And that's my biggest criticism basically of it. I don't think it's a bad MOBA game. I don't think it has bad mechanics when it comes to that, but I think the mechanics of the FPS element are, well, boring. And I think that's what might turn a lot of people off this game. For those people, like I said, I was looking for a more for the FPS element of the game, as I loved Tribes, which Hi-Res for some reason ruined. Like I said, I will be looking out for the next patch. Hopefully, please nerf Eevee or Ivy. I don't know how to spell it. My name has been TRG, and this was, well, some of my ramblings over Paladins by HyperX Studios.
The mighty becomes the mightier.